Why did I decide to wear black today? Hi everyone, my name's Florence and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing some repotting of plants that I've neglected massively over the last 18 months or so. And we're going to be using Soil.Ninja products. I'm just going to say quickly, if you can hear birds in the background, I am sat near chickens all around, which I'll show you quickly now. And there are excavators way down there, which you might be able to hear occasional noise from. Obviously, I'm hoping that that doesn't affect the video too much. So I was really kindly gifted some Soil.Ninja soils, and I am under no obligation to talk about these. I haven't been paid, nothing, it's not sponsored. I just wanted to try out their products, so they sent some to me. And I'm just going to quickly run through about the company and the mixes and just kind of give you a bit of background. I'll obviously let you know how they feel and everything as I'm repotting. They're a completely peat-free company, so really good to go peat-free. If you don't know anything about that, there's some incredible videos on YouTube talking about the reasons as to why you should go peat-free. All of their packaging is completely recyclable, and including all of the boxes that the soil come in, and the plastic that they're in is recyclable too. They're an absolutely amazing UK-based company. Their customer service and everything is incredible. I know that firsthand. They reply super quickly on Instagram, so if you're not getting a response by email, just definitely drop them a line. And lastly, they do all specific soil mixes for different groups of plants. So I've got here philodendron and monstera, I've got an anthurium mix, and then I've also got some leca to try out and some vermiculite. So I'm hoping that I can get through each one of these. I've also got some terrarium mix, but I'm not ready to start another terrarium just yet. So that will be a later video. But I'm going to answer some of your questions that you all sent me on Instagram a couple of months ago. I know it's been a really long time. I think I asked these in mid-June or so. It's been pretty hectic, and you'll obviously understand the more that you watch this video what has been going on and why I've been quite quiet on YouTube. So without further ado, I think I'm going to start off with this silvery Ann. It's in the same soil mix it came in, and to be honest, I'm really unhappy with the soil mix. I've just been too hectic and lazy to repot this. I personally think that it's got 0 roots, so I am going to try it in the philodendron and monstera mix, and I'm just going to tip all of my soil in here for now, just so that it's out of the way. How did I break a nail doing that? Explain to me. Okay, so they are pretty much unrooted. I'm not sure whether you can see that at all. Let me come up and show you. Okay, please excuse my nails as well, but this is the roots on them. Obviously there's hardly any whatsoever. As I suspected, these were just cuttings put straight into soil and sold on. But I'm hoping to change that. It's also super dehydrated, you can see by all the leaves curling. So I'm just going to repot into the same pot. There's no point in repotting it up a pot or anything. If I was to do this again without Soil.Ninja mixes, and if I didn't have any soil pre-made, I would probably actually cut those roots off or wash them off as best as possible and shove them straight into water and let them prop again and then pot them on. So the mix feels really good, but obviously I'll talk to you about that after the video and the outro, and I'm going to answer some of your questions. So yeah. So the first question that I got was, how are you and how is Hal? We are both good. We've had a pretty stressful couple of weeks or months, and I've got some follow-on questions to this, but we're both good, we're both healthy, and yeah, we're both just extremely happy to be where we're at now. Obviously I'm in my parents' garden at the moment, which is where I'm filming, and potentially where you'll see quite a few videos over the next couple of months. And yeah, it's just, we are both hectic. He's working full-time, I am still unemployed and seeking work, so if anybody knows any social media jobs going which are fully remote, that would be nice. So yeah. Somebody asked how we dealt with lockdown. So actually we were both super lucky and both get on incredibly well. We were in the one bed flat the whole time, which has 0 outdoor space. I didn't actually buy that many plants over lockdown, which is quite incredible. But yeah, we dealt okay. I mean, it was hard, but it was hard for everybody. We were just both extremely lucky that neither of us got sick, and none of our families have had it very seriously. So let's hope that that one gets a bit better. I'll put it back in here, and after I've potted these, I will give them a super... Oh, there's a bit of root out. After I've potted these and finished the video, I will give these a super good drench with water, and that way it will settle the soil a bit. And just Sorry, this is a Epipremnum pinnatum, I think. I'm also repotting this in the same pot. This is just in Coco Coir, and I don't like that mix for this plant. It doesn't hold enough moisture, it dries out too quickly, and I'm going to use the Philodendron and Monstera mix again with this one. So a lot of people have asked me why I've been going to Devon so much. So my parents live here, I grew up here, just everything has kind of been revolving around Devon recently. Hal's mum moved to Devon, and it's just nice to get away from London, to be honest. Also, I know that if any of you follow me on Instagram over the last probably year, you've had me hinting about various things in the pipeline, and finally we have moved out of London. We have moved into my parents', but we have got a house down here just up the road, which is super exciting. But I mean, the sellers of that were such a pain in the arse and dragged everything on. The house didn't have planning, and it was just, yeah, took a long time to kind of get to the point where we could move out of London and call this house our home. You will be seeing it, and I will also be uploading a moving with 250 houseplants vlog, I guess. So yeah, it's got an empty flat tour, and it'll just be kind of saying goodbye to the flat, so that'll be nice. But yeah, it just made sense for us to move down to Devon. Hal is fully remote in his job until at least the end of the year, so we're hoping that that will continue. And yeah, it just, like, for the lifestyle that we want, a one bed flat in London was just not doable. We want outdoor space, we want a family, and house prices in London are just insane. We have family down here, so it made sense. So that is another reason why I have been fairly quiet on YouTube, because we've been trying to deal with all of this. I've been moving all of the plants down. We didn't have a moving van, so it was a case of me doing it in between kind of normal trips to Devon. The roots on this are actually amazing. I'm really impressed. I don't know if you can see that. They're huge. There you go. I'll be able to see that. That kind of screws up my plan of repotting into that pot, but I kind of want to anyway. So yeah, the reason that I've been quiet on YouTube is just because it's been so absolutely hectic. We also, before we found out that the house was going through, decided screw it. We've been engaged for 18 months, 2 years, and we both decided that we didn't really want to wait any longer. We weren't able to kind of make our own decisions on the house because the vendor was kind of dictating everything, which didn't make sense, but just delaying everything. I mean, we were looking at that house, first time we viewed it was beginning of May 2020, and we said that we were interested and tried to put in an offer, at that point, and it dragged on and on and on, and last week we completed. So yeah, sorry, there's a little hen laying an egg over there. That little grey one, her right there, who's just looking at the frame now, she was the one who was making all of that noise. So yeah, we've been planning a wedding, moving house, doing everything kind of all at the same time. And to be honest, I feel like I've been extremely fortunate in the fact that just how is employed at the moment, I don't think we could have done this the way that we have if both of us are working full time. So although there are massive downsides to being unemployed, there's also some super positive things. So one question I got on the Q&A actually made me think quite a lot. It was, what is the one thing that you have felt guilty about owning plants, whether that's the cost that the money that you've spent on it, the neglect that you've shown them, the space that they take up, I guess. And to be honest, the biggest thing that I regret is not collecting sooner. Obviously when I started collecting plants, it was about 8 years ago, and I started on cacti and succulents, which was a really good thing to get into, but I wish that I'd found the aroid world sooner than that. Sorry, these hens are having like a little field day. Are you done? Somebody also asked me whether I had any thoughts on plant addiction, and yes, I 100% do. It is completely a real thing, and social media fuels that massively. So if you feel like you are not good enough for the plant community, or you have to have this new plant, I actually recommend taking a complete social media break. I felt like this quite a lot in probably the late stages of 2019 to early stages of 2020. And I realised that actually, firstly, I don't have the space for any more plants. Secondly, why am I interested in these? Is it just because I'm seeing them and other people have them that I want them? And thirdly, like, buy what you can firstly afford, and also what you can actually take care of, because there's so many plants in the houseplant world that you can buy and absolutely love, and they don't look like the Instagram pictures that you see, or they don't suit your conditions, and it's just massive heartbreak that you go through, and it's just not worth it. Houseplant collecting should be a happy thing. So yeah, I mean, Caitlin from Plant Life in the Tropics has a really, really good video on that, so I'll link that below. And basically what she says is completely how I feel. I watched that video and I was like, yeah, she's put it into words. So go watch that if you haven't already. So I'm just going to repot this orchid in leca. I really don't like the pot it's in. It's in a self-watering and it just keeps rotting and rotting and rotting. You can see that this is one leaf that is going, and also it just falls out of the pot all the time. So yeah. Somebody asked me who my favourite people in the plant community were. I have a couple. So I absolutely adore Aaron Deathley. He is incredible, such a nice person, so enthusiastic, and yeah, he's one of my favourite people, and so honest and helpful and just great. And then a few others. Oh no, I've just oh well, it's the bottom of the stem, but it'll be fine, it's got loads of roots. Pam's Planty Friends, Summer Rain Oaks, and her new channel Flock, which I love, absolutely can't get enough of it. Who else? I love Becca de la Plants and what she's doing, really enjoy it. Really enjoying her new gardening content, and she just seems like somebody who I would want to be friends with. tell me who your favourite people in the planting community are down in the comments below, because it's always great to find new channels and new accounts and just, yeah, people who make you feel good and don't make you feel like you aren't worthy in the plant community. Another question I got quite a bit was, where do I see myself in 5 years' time? So I see me and Hal hopefully starting a family, moving into our dream house and just having a much more relaxed lifestyle, be outside a lot more, have a dog, have some cats, have some chickens, and just be really happy. Obviously, because we're moving close to my parents, that is really lovely, and close to Hal's mum as well, so we should have a really good family atmosphere. And yeah, I just want to be happy. Like, that's all. I want myself and the people around me to be content in life and to be there to support people, really. I know a lot of people suggest to wash lacquer before using it, but I flush it out anyway, so I ain't too worried. And having orchids in clear pots obviously promotes root growth, because their roots need some light, so that's why I am repotting it into a clear pot rather than the white pot it was in. So it's so nice, this lacquer is like beautiful round lacquer rather than the lumpy stuff that I had before. And I know that's a really petty thing to say, but it's something that I've always admired, people who use lacquer, is the really aesthetically nice stuff. So if you're after that in the UK, then definitely check out Soil.Ninja. Right, so that's that one. It's good that you can see all the roots, so I'll come and show you. So you can see that there's some really nice roots on this, and having that in a clear pot will obviously promote massive amounts of root growth, and hopefully this will get a bit happier and healthier. Took off one leaf and now wondering whether I should have taken off this one, but we'll see what happens now that it's going to have some better light and better conditions. And you can see what I mean about the lacquer being perfectly round and really beautiful on this one. Okay, and this Anthurium clarinervium is the last to be repot. It has been desperately unhappy for a long time. It came down to Devon quite a bit before I did, probably about 7 months before I did, because the hard water in London was just affecting it too badly that it couldn't really hold any leaves. Some quite impressive, you probably able to see it here, some quite impressive roots. I'm just going to lay it down. So I had a couple of people ask me what my next few videos would be as well, and obviously we've got repot now. Then I have the empty house tour with, or the empty flat tour with kind of like a moving vlog and my tips on how to move with that many plants. And then after that I will do an empty house tour and show you the place that we are moving into, and kind of tell you a bit about our ideas there. Sorry, this chicken is still trying to ruin the video. Massive gap under it. That should settle with the good water. I'm just going to show you actually quickly the mix that this is in. So that is super light and airy. It's got loads of bark, I think either perlite or I think it might actually be vermiculite. I'll put on the screen what all of these are, but that looks absolutely incredible for anthuriums. If you can see roughly kind of how chunky this mix is. Huge bits of bark, sorry, huge bits of bark, which are really good. And yeah, I'm hoping that this will now become a bit happier. I'm just gonna trellis this up a tiny bit with a bit of wire just so that it can stay upright a bit more. But all in all, I am super impressed with these mixes. They are actually all roughly what I would mix for these sorts of plants. Yeah, just, I mean, the people seem lovely who own it, and it's kind of like a really cute little business that the houseplant community definitely needs. I mean, you all know that how hard soil mixes are to find, and then you have to not only buy hundreds of different ingredients for them. It's like baking one of Jamie Oliver's recipes where he's like, oh yes, everybody has these in their cupboards, and it's something that you've never even heard of. This isn't working. Oh well, I'll just shove it in there anyways. And just having it all ready and in the right place, and as really beautiful mixes that you can kind of edit yourself. You know, if you want more worm castings, or you want more sphagnum or anything like that in any of these mixes, you can also get that from Soil.Ninja, so I definitely recommend it. And all of their sphagnum is sustainably sourced as well, so you don't have to worry about ripping up bog spaces or any natural ecosystems. But that is it for today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions about Soil.Ninja or any YouTubers that you recommend, or just any comments at all, leave them below. If you haven't already, subscribe, and you'll be able to get notifications if you turn on the bell for my next few videos, which I think are really helpful and really interesting. I love seeing people's houses when they first move in or when they move out and they do empty tours, to think what they did with it and what the next person will do with it. And also I'm just really nosy, which is probably why I like that sort of thing. But anyway, thank you for watching if you've gotten this far. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.